Hi, my name is Karen. I had a mild scoliosis as a child, and that never seemed to bother me. And then in my 50s, I picked up a hide-a-bed and ruptured a couple of discs and had a fusion and a lower spinal fusion, and was getting along pretty good still. And then made the late life mistake of marrying a handsome, charming man who just beat the hell out of me and further dislocated my back, and my back just decompensated. And of course I divorced him, and my family, my son and daughter-in-law, moved in with me. I'm very grateful for them. They spent 3 years getting me back on my feet, and I thought I was going to be okay, but my spine just went ahead and got to the point where I really couldn't walk well. I was pinching nerves and getting these huge electrical current shocks that not only stopped you in your tracks, but I mean, I dropped everything that was in my arms. It was pretty terrible, and it was pretty obvious that I was getting bad fast. And I kept hoping, I was afraid of spinal surgery, and I kept hoping I was going to get old and die before I had to have it. So anyway, as a senior citizen in my late 60s, I finally complained enough that my family doctor sent me to a neurologist who said, "Oh, I don't do surgery like you're going to need, but there's the Hey Clinic here in Raleigh." And I'd never heard of the Hey Clinic. And so, based on his reference, I met Dr. Hey and his very accommodating staff. And he assessed me and finally decided that, yes, I would probably benefit from a lot of fusions in my spine. Well, my choice was pretty obvious. Let's have the surgery, because I was going to be dependent and in a wheelchair soon. I was almost there anyway. So I was frightened about it. We had the surgery, and it wasn't near as bad as I thought it was going to be. I thought, oh, you know, I had heard my grandmother's stories. So even though I have some medical background, you know, those lingering fears that you get that are put into you from early childhood when people are telling scary stories to each other a long time ago, were still with me. But I recovered better than, my back was fine. In fact, I had a pinched nerve in my right leg that was slow to recover. And even to this day, the sole of my right foot feels like I'm walking on gravel. But the gravel gets smaller and smaller. And it won't be long before it'll be sand. And I can see in 6 months I will have no residual effects whatsoever. But I've turned out to be real healthy, real happy. I've gone back to ballroom dancing, and even though I'm tipped over and bent over a little bit, I look like a happy senior citizen out there having a good time dancing. I bought a new house. I'm doing my own electrical work, so I'm up on an 8-foot ladder with a screwdriver stuck in my pants and having a good time. I'm putting in a fish pond, digging holes to plant trees, and hauling natural rocks out of the woods to put around the fish pond. And I wouldn't have this independent, functional life, truly, if it weren't for Dr. Hey and the clinic and the wonderful people who took care of me. When I first started to wake up from surgery, I was in a quiet and dark room, and I could hear myself complaining about pain more than I could feel it. And I was almost embarrassed. I thought, I wish I'd shut up. But you know, you have a lot of medications, and so you're going to talk, I guess. Some nice lady who wasn't even a nurse came in and sat with me, and she must have stayed an hour and just kept saying, breathe and relax and think of good thoughts. And And that was my immediate post-op experience, and that's not bad. I mean, if that's the worst thing that can happen to you, you're a lucky woman. And I went to a rehab hospital for several weeks, and the physical therapists were wonderful, just wonderful. And in fact, they told me later that, gee, they didn't think I was going to progress as well as I did, but they never let that show. And since they said I could do it, I just went ahead and did it. And it was wonderful. It was really, in retrospect, I'm sorry I didn't do it a whole lot earlier, but old fears often keep people from doing what modern technology is possible. So I'm encouraging my friends, and at my age, I'm now 70 and just doing fine. My family lives forever. I'm likely to live to be easily in my 90s, and I expect to be dancing until in my late 80s. And thanks to the clinic and the hospital and those wonderful people who cared for me, and that wonderful medication control they have nowadays. Terrific. Yeah, you're going to have some pain, but it's not going to be unbearable. So, thank you all very much.